What's up, everybody? Long time no see. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate it. This is a big live stream. A lot has been going on, and for this, I've brought in some assistance from none other than the useless John DeCola.
Ever useless. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh, and by the way, before we start, there's already 200 of you guys in here. I want to let you know that in the chat, we see a goal. You'll see it in the chat. We're looking to do, by the end of the stream, 10 super chats at $50 a piece. And if we can accomplish that goal, we are going to do a meet and greet and a live protest at this police department, the police department that we're featuring here today. So you all right, John?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Without further ado, let's jump into this video, and then we have major updates what the chief of police had to say, what their attorneys had to say, and what they're doing now to try and do their best to cover up this crime. So let me put on the screen. You guys can enjoy, and we'll jump right on into this. Here's the video. Cop pulls me over and gets nothing.
Officer Fisher with Newberry PD.
Hands off my vehicle. You don't have a
Just
warrant.
to let you know, you are being recorded today.
Yeah, I know. I'm recording you. You pulled me over. I didn't exceed the speed limit. You got a middle finger.
Right.
What's up?
See your license and registration.
Need reason for stop.
Nope, I need your license and
Reason for the
registration.
stop. Get yourself a supervisor. Get yourself sued.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if the registration comes back to a different name or driver. Have I violated any traffic laws?
Can I see your license?
Negative.
You have your ID? Yeah.
How long you been a cop for?
Registration, please.
I don't need to provide it to you. There's no traffic infractions. My stuff is good. Why'd you run? Why'd you run the plate?
Sir, roll your window.
Why'd you? Don't tell him what the do in my car. Why did you run the plate? Stop's over. I'll hop out now.
So it starts off pretty hot, and that's just the intro. I'm gonna forward to when the video itself starts. Let you guys get a second to get up to date with this. Let people start rolling in. This one was fantastic, and another thing that's important to know is if a cop doesn't have reasonable suspicion for the stop, tell them to get bent. The guy runs my plate, and we were able to find out afterwards that my vehicle is registered as charcoal gray, right? But Mass doesn't delineate the difference of colors. Canary is yellow. What were the different things? Charcoal, graphite are listed simply as black. I was able to contact the Registry of Motor Vehicles. I spoke to 2 different people before I got to a supervisor, and the vehicle purchase and identification says charcoal. It shows up on the registration as black. This is no secret to the police department. This guy ran my tags. He saw it came back as black. He saw the sublisting as charcoal. He knew 100% he had no right to pull us over. And they simply could have apologized and, gave us the body cam. We could go from there. Instead, they wanted to play this game. And we're going to read you the emails and everything that's happened between the chief since. So let's jump right into it. And then he realized what we were doing, so he sped up to get behind us. He was behind us for almost a mile. Our cruise control was set under the speed limit, and we'd made no traffic infractions. But we knew to start filming because cops love to pull you over when you flip them the bird. But we never could have expected that this cop would have had so many fake reasons and excuses to initiate the traffic stop. Cop didn't get my driver's license, and he didn't get my registration. He starts by telling us that he's got him owned in the most viral fashion. Enjoy.
Let's go. What's up, buddy? We got pulled over. We didn't go over 46 miles an hour.
This is going to be great.
So, guys, most of you probably, freak out when you see a cop behind you. Not me. I'm like a schoolboy. I get very, very excited because I know exactly what I have and have not done wrong, and I know exactly how this stop's going to go. Worst case scenario, the guy arrests me, and the lawsuit is even more. But when they're pulling you over, they need to have reasonable articulable suspicion and probable cause. Giving a police officer the middle finger is neither of those. In fact, last year alone, 8 police officers were suspended for doing retaliatory traffic stops. 2 were fired, and 1, notably out of Vermont, wound up having to pay someone almost $250,000 for a retaliatory traffic stop. They can't pull you over because they don't like that you gave them the middle finger, but that doesn't stop them from costing the taxpayers a whole lot of money.
Yes. Come around this side. Yeah. What's up, man?
Officer Fisher with Newberry PD.
Hands off my vehicle. You don't have a
Just to
warrant.
let you know, you are being recorded today.
Yeah, I know. I'm recording you. You
Okay.
pulled me over. I didn't exceed the speed limit. You got a
Yeah,
middle
that's right.
finger. What's up?
See your license and registration.
Need reason for stop.
No, I need your license and
Reason for the
registration.
stop.
Why
don't you answer the question,
The reason I'm
officer?
stopping you
All right. Now, it's extremely important to know why a police officer is stopping you.
comes back to a different
We'll
vehicle.
run it again.
So it wasn't the middle finger. It's that my registration comes back to a totally different vehicle. Let's see if he changes that excuse in the future. Did we,
So I need to confirm.
did we break a law?
Listen,
Did we break a
I
law?
need
Get your
to-
supervisor. Let me
Sir.
tell you who I am,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm a civil rights activist. I'm a cop watcher with over 250,000 viewers. Get yourself a supervisor, get yourself sued.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if the registration comes back to a different name or driver. Have I violated any traffic laws?
Can I see your license?
Negative.
please? Okay.
Moving violation.
What's
What did I
what's
do?
your name, sir?
What did I do? What
What's your
law
name?
did I break? Reason for the stop. Is
What's
that a
your-
crime to have a different name on the registration?
I didn't tell you that there was a different name on the registration.
You just said that. You said there was a
it doesn't
different
come
name.
back to this vehicle.
That's-
So your registration to confirm.
That's bull.
Can I see your registration?
What vehicle does it come back to?
Can I see your registration?
What vehicle does it come back to?
Stop your lying, buddy.
Supervisor.
This cost.
Name's a dipshit.
Hey, why don't you really state why you pulled us over? Because we flew.
Now, this is the biggest admission of guilt the whole time. John, you could probably piggyback off this. But if a cop knows they're in the right, they know they did the right thing, they know they have probable cause, reasonable articulable suspicion, they are getting you a supervisor, they're starting the citation process. This cop knew we had him at Jump Street. The problem was he had a female trainee in the car, and we speculate that he was trying to show off and show that no one gives him the middle finger. The last thing he expected was to pull over a car full of civil rights activists.
I just want to correct something, though. According to the chief in Newberry, that was actually a dispatcher, according to him, not a recruit or a rookie.
Yeah,
So,
I've been able to debunk that, though, because this dispatch center and Newberry themselves use their own dispatch. He made a little bit of a faux pas in one of his emails, and he stated that the dispatcher was from a neighboring county, a neighboring town. A neighboring town wouldn't be sending their dispatcher to learn the streets of Newberry. So this chief is full of more shit than a colostomy bag. And we're gonna get into that. But what do you think right now this cop is thinking?
oops.
Yeah, oops. Like a Britney Spears song. Oops, he thinks he did it again. All right.
We flipped you off, buddy.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You waved to us and everything. You're an idiot.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
You have your ID?
Get
No.
my ID.
You're not getting passenger's ID, bro.
You
get.
How long you been a
your
cop for?
registration, please?
I don't need to provide it to you. There's no traffic infractions. Just so you know, if you get pulled over by police, passengers in your vehicle do not have to provide identification and are none the wiser. This cop just made the mistake of doing it with a vehicle full of YouTube police activists. My stuff is good. You want to run my VIN? You can listen. I'm going to tell you right now. I haven't violated any traffic laws or moving violations. You want to run my VIN to try and get my I can, but I know for a fact my stuff is good. What vehicle did it come back
So
to?
it comes back to a different colored vehicle than this.
Hold on. Did he just say that my registration comes back to a different color vehicle than this one? Because just 2 minutes ago he was saying.
Is because this vehicle comes back to a different. The registration comes back to a different
We'll
vehicle.
run it again.
So 2 minutes ago the registration came back to a totally different vehicle than the one I was driving. But now the registration comes back to the same vehicle, but a different color.
Now, there's certain reasons that John, myself, and Randy MAA audits are asking these questions. Thank you, New England Truth. Really appreciate that, bro. At this point, the moment I get pulled over, the moment I have any police contact, I'm setting it up for my lawyer. I'm trying to lay the groundwork so my lawyer has the best advantages possible. The cop is initially saying that he pulled us over because the plates and registration came back to a totally different vehicle. And now that he's being called on it and he's got his ass under a literal fire, now just the color's different. I saw him call it in, and we asked for the re-radio broadcast. We're going to go over all the records requests and the games they're playing with that very shortly.
Got him.
So I need
You're
to
full of
confirm.
No, it doesn't. No, bro.
Hey, can I get? I'm gonna
No, it
FOIA
doesn't.
request that call.
Get a
okay?
supervisor,
And
man.
I'm gonna catch you in the
There
ride.
isn't one. So can I just see a license?
Hey, you know,
Na-
I've seen
na-
I've seen Mr. Fisher before, by the way. He's made YouTube famous before by another.
Have you been
another
on YouTube
person.
before?
Can
Who,
I
this
see
guy?
your, can
Oh,
I see
yeah.
your license and registration?
Negative,
So
man.
you're just an
Negative.
idiot, right?
You can get a supervisor. Today's going to be a rough day for you. I've made no moving violations. You can run the VIN. What does it come back to? You haven't run it yet. You can run
I
it.
haven't run the VIN.
Run the
I'd like
VIN.
I'd like to get your
Run the
registration.
run the VIN. I've engaged in no ordinance violations or moving violations. Run the VIN and see what it comes back to. Because I think you're full of shit. I gave you the middle
Okay,
finger. You didn't like that, did you?
I don't care. People.
All right, then
people
care
give me
less-
the-
Then why'd you
then
pull us
care-
give
over?
me the middle
Care
finger all
less.
the
All
time.
right, I'm
So-
sure they do. Care less out of my face.
So I ran your plate.
Yeah.
And the plate comes back to a different colored
Well,
vehicle.
why'd you
What
run the
color
plate?
vehicle?
So I need to.
Why'd
Because
you
we
Why'd
flipped
you run the
off.
plate?
Because we
Huh?
flipped you
Why-
off. Because you're a little.
Why'd you
Okay,
run?
I'll tell
Why'd
you.
you run the plate?
Sir.
Why'd you? Don't tell him what the do in
No,
my
shut
car.
the
Why did you run the plate? I mean, I know you can. You don't need to have probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion to run a plate because it's in the public domain. But did you run it because you got the middle finger?
Got butt hurt.
This is the same guy. He did this. He pulled the same shit.
Pull this with.
He pulled it with another YouTuber.
You been on YouTube before, Fisher?
Who's he? This is Lincoln, right? Oh, Newberry.
Newberry.
Newberry. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think he pulled this one.
Oh, did you?
Vehicle, I'll be right back.
Hey, listen. Keep your hands where I can see him.
What a chump this guy is.
Hold on a second. I gotta call Anna. Let her know we got pulled
You
over.
gotta be.
Hold on,
This
quiet everyone.
chump
Guys,
pulled
one
us over
second.
because
One
we
sec,
all
guys.
flipped him off and he's
One
doing
sec, guys.
I told you.
What is it, Newberry?
Yeah. Newberry.
Hey, we got pulled over by a Newberry cop because we flipped him off. He tried getting my license and reg. I told him no. And then he said the reason he's asking for it is because the plate comes back to a different vehicle.
Different color
A
vehicle.
different color vehicle. I told him he was full of shit. So, right, I made him run the VIN and now he's behind us.
Like you're driving in the car and he's just following
No,
you?
we're pulled over on the side of the road for giving the cop the finger.
Oh my God. You're recording it, right?
Of course I'm recording it.
No, we're
Okay. I'm like, well, get off the phone with me and give him more.
Hold on, I got to make sure John has your number in case anything goes sideways.
Well, there better not
I
be
got
anything
your
that goes
number.
sideways. Because I'm making you dinner.
I know.
And I can't hear his.
Okay, and let's just talk about something. The unsung hero in this is no one physically inside the vehicle, Denny. The unsung hero of this entire broadcast was my wife. Overwhelmingly, the comments about her being like, "Oh, what do? You know, you better not get in trouble. I'm cooking you dinner." Just so the Newberry Police Department knows, we left this traffic stop laughing at the poor excuse for a pig that you have employed at your department. We all went home and my wife cooked us all dinner. So that happened and we made it home just on time. So we really do appreciate the Newberry PD, but wait, there's more.
I can take it home though.
All right. Well, I'll stay off the phone with you. I just gave you her number, but you had it anyways. All right. Love you, babe.
Love you.
Bye.
Can you believe that guy had the balls to ask me for an ID? What an idiot. Yeah, I mean, we really hired some real freaking idiots, man.
I mean, listen, I'm telling you, this guy, I've seen this guy. He's YouTube famous for this shit.
A few minutes has
And just so everyone knows, it was a mercy. It was actually very gracious of me to pull the vehicle over, because I have a fucking rally sport with a turbocharged engine. If he wanted to pull me over and I didn't want to be pulled over, I'm outrunning him nine times out of 10. What do you think, Denny?
Yeah, well, I think it would have been a run for his money. But I'm going to wait until we finish on this. I have something that I want to point out between the time he went from the passenger side of the vehicle to the driver's side of the vehicle.
Well, some of it's clipped out. Like from when the phone call ended till right now, I clipped some stuff out. So when he went to his vehicle and then he returned to us, it was approximately 10 more minutes before he approaches us again. And by the way, folks, when he approaches me, now he's run the VIN. So this is the first time that he knows who we are. This is the first time.
I'm talking about before he ran the VIN. He went from the passenger side of the vehicle around the back of the vehicle to the driver's side. I want to point something out on that aspect.
Sure.
So if you listen to what he said, from the time he came from the passenger side, he said that it came back to a different vehicle. He never went back to his vehicle to call it in to see that the vehicle color was different. He walked around the driver's side and then said that the color was different on the driver's side. There was nothing over the radio.
That's a great point. So, folks, what we're talking about here specifically is, first, the cop tells me that my vehicle registration comes back to a totally different vehicle. Then he switches it up once I literally verbally, give him a colonoscopy it comes back as a different color vehicle. And John's right. He never got on the radio to clarify and say, officer to control, can you clarify the query on that last plate you ran for me? He never did anything. So that's actually fantastic that John pointed that out. He literally changed his story without checking with anyone. He was so positive that he was going to get away with it. And he was so used to this behavior. I've met cops that are dirty, right? The first time they try something sketchy is on camera and they're all over the place. It's hard for them to come up with lies. This cop came up with this lie very easily. It's clear that he's done this before, but now he found out who I am. So look at the energy that he just gave us, that fake tough guy bullshit persona that he was pushing on us. And now let's see how he behaves when he comes back to the car. A little bit of a pussycat.
has gone by, and now this cop's ran the VIN, so he knows who I am. And now that he knows who I am, he's going to approach the vehicle with an entirely different energy. Now his ego is under control, and he's just a little tame, scared puppy dog. But that's not going to last for long.
Yes, for the guy.
All right, sir. So just to let you know, this registration is coming back to a black Equinox. So obviously, it's not black; it's gray.
Right.
So if you could just get that updated with your town office or city office.
Sure.
Joke.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
and careful, because I don't want you to get pegged by a car going by. And I understand, because I've been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
You don't have to have a reason to run my plate. So I don't really give a shit that you did.
Yep.
But is the reason, would you have ran my plate if I didn't give you the middle finger?
So
honest conversation.
Huh?
Honest conversation. Put the window down so I can see it better.
Well, I'm telling you why I stopped you. Okay.
Why? Why did you run the plate? I understand why you stopped me.
Okay. Yep.
I understand why you stopped me. And do you have a copy of the CAD report of the incident report number?
No, I don't.
Okay. You called it in over dispatch, though, right?
Correct.
All right. So I'm going to pull the dispatch logs, the radio broadcast.
You're welcome.
But did you run my tags? Well, stop's over. I'll get out.
Wait.
Now, guys, I've been doing this a long time. So while this whole stop was happening, my head's on a swivel. I'm looking for certain signs that say emergency stopping only, no stopping, no standing. There are absolutely no signs that exist saying that I can't stop there. I'm no longer detained. The stop is concluded. Pennsylvania v. Mims has no jurisdiction on me at this point with the traffic stop being concluded. So I decide to pop out on him. And he becomes a real puss real quick.
Wait, stop pulling people over, you idiot.
Stop's over. I'll hop out now. During the entire traffic stop, my head was on a swivel, and I was looking for signs that didn't last for long.
Stop's over. Am I detained?
Get back in the
Am
car.
I detained?
Get back in the
Am
car.
I detained?
Get back in
Don't
the car.
put your hand on my face.
I didn't-
Am I detained? Is this
All
a
right.
no stopping zone?
Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The out of here.
If you guys are going to cause a problem.
No, you're causing a problem.
If you guys are going to cause a problem
Yeah.
here,
What problem? What
Well,
problem?
get
what
back
problem?
in the car.
I'm
John, and that's something. This guy gets a middle finger, protected speech. We commit no crimes, no ordinance violations, no moving violations, no traffic violations. Outside of his lawful ability, under the color of law, he pulls us over, restrains us, detains us, and ceases our Fourth Amendment right to move freely and to be free from search and seizure. But we're the ones that are causing a problem. This cop bit off way more than he can chew.
Well, and it should be pointed out the fact that this was actually a First Amendment retaliation stop because of the fact that we flipped him off, and that is protected speech under the First Amendment. That would make this a retaliatory stop, in my opinion. And I'm not an attorney. This isn't legal advice. I'm just saying, in my opinion, once he flipped those lights on, knowing full well we had not created any traffic violations, that was the retaliation for the First Amendment.
Well, you're not the only one that thinks that. My attorney thinks the same thing. Two things. Number one, he pulled us over, obviously, for the middle finger. But what we would discuss in court is, oh, no, my officer didn't pull them over for a middle finger. He pulled them over because the license plate didn't match up with the vehicle. That chip ain't going to fly off the shoulder because it's common knowledge that vehicles of graphite or different shades of black are simply considered black. Like violet is considered purple, like canary is considered yellow. He knew that, and he could see the subsection where it says charcoal and then black. So this guy is going to lose in court, and I wasn't going to sue them. I'll explain more after we finish the video.
no, you're causing a problem.
If you guys are going to cause a problem
Yeah.
here,
What problem? What
Well,
problem?
what
get back
problem?
in the car.
I'm
Hey, the
good.
stop's over, dude. The stop's
It's not.
over.
It's not a no stopping, no standing. Not a no stopping, no standing.
All right.
Hold on.
You guys
The
are
trap.
refusing to get
The
back in
stop.
the car?
The stop is
You
concluded.
guys are
Is this?
refusing to
Is
get
it?
back
Am
in
I
the car.
detained?
You guys are refusing
Am I
to get back in the
detained?
car?
Am I
Have a nice
detained?
day.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.
Now, just so everyone knows, the reason he kept saying you guys are refusing to get back in the car, that was another intimidation tactic. He thought that by saying you guys are refusing to get back in the car, we might think there'd be some sort of penalty or legal action taken against us, and we might retreat. But we don't retreat. We just destroy them. Thank you, New England Truth. And I am going to read over all the super chats afterwards. But listen, this is not our fault, okay? I came prepared. The government thought they came prepared. It was really a battle of wits, and we won. People out there that would call us YouTube lawyers, we have a YouTube law degree, and you bareback the blue. Well, their 6 weeks of training and their high school diploma didn't put them up in a fair fight against us. They were punching above their weight class. They were severely outmanned, outknowledged, and outgunned. So I'll take my YouTube law degree any single day because this guy never even got a handle on the situation. He was on his heels from the moment he got out of his stupid pig van.
And let's point out something too, because if you go back at the beginning when he first came over and said that the plate didn't come back to the vehicle, that's usually where they do their little fat finger typing, is what they claim it is, where they punched in the wrong number or wrong letter, right? And that's why when he said that, I said, go back and run it again. Now, at that point, he could have done his due diligence, ran the plate again, and saw that the plate and the color all matched and sent us on our way.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has no probable cause. I mean, let's just run with the fact that maybe it came back as a different vehicle, which we all know it didn't. His suspicions were allayed the moment that he got out to talk to us. The registration was good. The insurance was good. I mean, you can get all that information after you run the VIN. All this guy did was get outclassed, and this department, they're in for a tough one.
You clown. That's the reason why you give the badge a bad name. It's like you.
You're good. You're good.
Don't listen to him, lady.
That's how you
Owned is right.
I'll just, and you know what? I'll just stay the best in the business. And that's the reason I stopped you today. Subscribe to John Denicola and MAA Audits. You got a problem with the cops? Watch these videos because his vagina hurts worse than the chick sitting in his passenger. One of the
Hold on a sec, guys. The screen blacks out from time to time. Just stay with me. I'm going to show you a couple of the emails that were going back and forth. Let's start with this one, okay? So let me explain to you. I'll set this up. Here's how it goes down. I call them the next morning. I speak to the chief of police, and the chief of police could not be more apologetic. What he told me over the phone was, everything that you're saying is very concerning, and even if a small portion of what you're saying is the least bit true, then this cop's in trouble, and we're going to have a real problem with this. Suspension, whatever. So he promised that things would be taken care of very swiftly. He did get quite upset. I filled out my complaint form, and this is what he wrote back to me crying. He cried and he said, okay, I did another one from the passenger, and I know the guys said they're taking a ton of calls now, which I get, but unfortunately the sergeant is off until Thursday morning. He handles all the complaints. I'll be in Thursday morning if you have any additional information. So I sent my formal complaint, and this is what my formal complaint reads. And I'll read it out loud to you. On April 3rd, at approximately 3:25 Eastern Standard Time, I was driving through Newbury. A marked police car was moving towards us in an adjacent lane. Myself and the other two occupants in my vehicle gave this police officer the middle finger. The officer then sped up and followed us. He activated his emergency lights, and we pulled over to the side of the road. He demanded my license and registration. I knew he had pulled me over for giving him the middle finger, so I asked why he pulled me over. Specifically, what was his reasonable articulable suspicion? He first told me that the registration came back to a totally different vehicle than mine. I knew this was absolutely false, as I had been on the phone with my insurance company the week prior to discuss a possible policy change, and everything was as it should be. I asked for a supervisor, and he refused. He then totally changed the reason for why he pulled us over. Instead of it coming back to a totally different vehicle, now he says it came back to a different color vehicle, which I also knew to be untrue. It was apparent this was a retaliatory stop because we gave him the middle finger. This was something he would not take, especially with a female trainee in the passenger seat. We waited until he ran the VIN. It's at this point we believe he found out who we were and came back with an entirely different attitude, an entirely different and demure attitude, but that didn't last long. He said we were free to go. I again told him I knew that he didn't need probable cause to run the plate as a public domain, but I asked if the reason he ran my plate and pulled me over was because he got the middle finger. He refused to answer and called away. With no stopping and no standing signs visible as the traffic stop concluded, I exited the vehicle to record his license plate number and patrol number for my complaint when he engaged us again, demanding we get back in the vehicle. I asked if I was detained. I was not detained. I was legally parked with the stop concluded. I continued to film for evidence. He continued to try and intimidate me when no cars were passing. I waved him out so he knew it was safe to pull away, and he did. The following day, I contacted the RMV. I was on the phone for 45 minutes. I spoke to 2 employees and a supervisor. I was able to definitively conclude that my vehicle is in the system as charcoal. However, there is no option for charcoal, so vehicles of that hue are simply registered as black. For example, any charcoals, onyx, or graphite colors are simply qualified as black on the registration. I was also notified by the RMV that this is common knowledge and police officers are aware of this, with charcoal being defined by law as black for registration. He either pulled me over for giving him the middle finger or for having a properly registered vehicle, and neither is an acceptable excuse. Furthermore, he did this in the presence of a trainee. This teaches her an improper and illegal way of policing that does not reflect U.S. or New Hampshire state laws or policies. It certainly does not reflect the Newbury Police Department's core values. Free speech and right to protest government is the most essential part of our democracy. Probable cause and reasonable articulable suspicion exist as a bar, not a suggestion. The law is not open for interpretation based on a police officer's feelings or ego. He intimidated us and arrested our movement for the practice of speech. This was predatory behavior that a citizen unknowing of their rights would have buckled under. In the past 60 days, 2 police officers in the U.S. have been fired for pulling someone over after they got the middle finger. Another 6 placed on leave and 2 more disciplined. Last year, Vermont State Trooper was sued for $250,000 for the same thing. The Supreme Court made it abundantly clear since the early 1960s that the middle finger is protected speech. Officer Fisher was unable to see past his own ego. This is one of the most dangerous things a police officer can do. Thank you for your time. So I send him that, okay? And now John goes and tell them, John, what you asked for.
So at that point, I had requested all body cam and dash cam footage from the stop from 3:10 p.m. to 4 o'clock that afternoon. Then I also asked for the Axon body cam trail so that we can find out whether or not he was muting the camera, whether or not the camera was running and functioning properly. And I also asked for any and all police reports pertaining to the stop. And lo and behold, I was denied.
And that makes sense. Here's what they thought was going to happen. The video was going to make them look bad. They'd give me some very fancy and feel-good words, and this would all be forgotten. They should have known by the video that, we were dogs with bones and they bit off far more than they can chew. This is an email they sent back to John Denicola. And he says, I have added this to the complaint and am forwarding it to the sergeant. I would just state that the female in the cruiser is a new London dispatcher who is riding along with area departments to learn geography of towns she dispatches for. She's not a police officer and was not wearing any body-worn camera at the time of the incident. That is inaccurate. Newbury has their own dispatch center, so this was a lie. They didn't bring in some dispatcher from another town to learn the streets of Newbury, a town that she would never dispatch for. But we expect cops to lie, so let's continue. Also, so far, I do not see where any restraint was used, force was used, discharge of a firearm, or felony level arrest was made, which are the only body cam footage videos that need to be released under 91A requests. So as of now, that request would be denied for those reasons. However, the investigation has just begun on the sergeant's end. I'm sure he'll follow up. So my response to that was, the definition of restraint per New Hampshire state statute says a measure or condition that keeps someone under control or detained within limits. We were detained and restrained per the letter of the law during this traffic stop, as we were not free to go until its conclusion. This clearly does not meet the exemption for non-release of the footage. Under New Hampshire law, in this case, it should be and can be released. If it would be easier, I can have my attorney contact you. Any measure to limit the release of said footage would be in direct violation of your right to know laws, as detained is legally considered restraint. We have been very professional and amicable in our search for accountability. At this time, we have decided not to pursue legal action because we are trusting in an accountable and transparent process. We would hope that your department is different than Officer Fisher and respects the law. We are legally entitled to this body cam footage. So what they're saying is that New Hampshire state law says, excuse me, to release body cam footage must be a felony arrest, discharge of a firearm, or you have to be restrained. The verbiage does not say physically restrained. It says that you must be restrained.
Well,
So
Josh,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to give you the and here's the legal definition that I got for that. So, and this is what I sent back to the chief and I sent to the attorney. So, as a matter of restraint, they're trying to claim that you have to be physically restrained. And the legal definition says any action or device that restricts a person's freedom of movement, liberty.
And we lost John there for a second. John, you there? We lost John for a second. Okay, we're going to wait to see if we can get him back, but let me pull what we're talking about here. So the verbiage of the law specifically says that, we lost him. Restrained is, it doesn't have to be physical. He doesn't have to pull me out of the car and put his hands on me, which would have been a bad day for him. I hear he's coming up now. Hold on. I got you, John. There he is.
I'm sorry. I got to do some work here, but so the definition says any action or device that restricts a person's freedom of movement, liberty, or ability to act independently, encompassing both physical and mechanical means. That is the legal definition of restraint. I don't think it gets any clearer.
No,
Clearly,
you and I,
we were restricted from going anywhere.
Yeah, you and I understood the same thing. I also spoke to my attorney, who has been CC'd and reviewed all the emails, and he says the same thing. Just by stopping our vehicle, we are restrained. We are not free to go. The only time we were free to go is before the lights were activated and after the traffic stop was concluded. At those moments, we were no longer detained. Before those moments, in between those moments, we were physically detained. We were restrained. We were not able to leave. If we left, we would have been arrested. We were under duress at that point, even though that duress was based on an illegal stop to begin with. So we sent this to the chief of police, and he has decided to stick with his guns. And here's why I named the stream what I named it. They begged for me to sue them because they had a very easy go with things. All they had to do was, say this guy did the wrong thing, which they did on the phone, release the body camera, and everything would be good. Now, this chief just said a moment ago that he's not required under the 91A right to know law to release this body cam. Well, how about this, you stupid fucking pig? If you're not going to release it under right to know, then you can release it as discovery. You're going to notate that on Monday morning, 1 second, you fucking loser. Monday morning at approximately, that would be Monday the 14th, at approximately noon, you are going to receive a letter of intent. That letter of intent is going to be legal notice representing myself, and I'll have you guys sign some stuff too, and all parties involved in this, that we have intended to sue you for a violation of our rights and deprivation of our rights under the color of law, for the failed supervision of Officer Fisher, and for the neglectful oversight of the complaint and right to know process. You are going to have 6 months to either wipe your ass with that letter of intent, or just when you go to bed at night, stare at the thumbnail of myself, John, and Randy, and before you fall asleep, just try and pretend it went any different way than it actually did, where you can just hate love us and just abuse yourself over the very thought of us coming into your town. Because after that time is over, if you decide not to talk with us, then you're going to get a notice that you are actually sued in both state and federal court. When it comes to that, I love money. So I would normally, in this situation, like with my current lawsuit against Boston, I would say, all right, what's the settlement amount? It is the policy of the United States and we the people that reside in said states to not and to never negotiate with terrorists. So you can keep any of your offers. I'm not going to settle any offers. I'm going to go to court with this. And here's why. Even if I lose, I don't care. You're going to have to make your attorneys work all the way to the end of it in a jury trial. You're going to have to waste the taxpayers' money either fucking way. And where do you think that money's going to come out of? Let me tell you something else. Even if the jury finds no cause and they just, they find the police department not guilty and they say to themselves, you know what, these guys are real antagonists. We don't like First Amendment auditors and we bear back the blue and deep throat the boot and all that other good stuff. So we're just going to give these guys the minimum dollar to say, screw you. Well, at that time, you're on the hook for all of my attorney's fees. And my guy's billing $1,000 an hour. After a 2-year lifespan of this lawsuit being in court at $1,000 an hour, how much do you think my attorney's fees are going to fucking be? They're going to be immeasurable and insurmountable. So you said before you didn't have to release. Let me read you exactly what you said. You said, because I want to get the exact verbiage from you. Also, I do not see where restraint was used, force was used, discharge of a firearm, or felony level arrest was made, which are the only body cam footage that need to be released under 91A. So as of now, know that the request will be denied. All right, so just to be clear, you stupid fucking moron. Forget about 91A. Now you're going to disclose everything I want as part of discovery because now you're getting sued. So this is how the citizens win. You don't just get to clam up and pretend the whole fucking thing goes away because it does not go away. Now you just got your town sued. I want to show you who we're talking about here. This department is a joke. You'll see it on the screen right now. The Newberry Police Department in Newberry, New Hampshire. I'm just going to look at their most recent post. It's a feel-good post. Last night, this wild Newberry resident got stuck crossing the street along Route 103 in the area of Newberry Harbor and was assisted by the duty officer from the pavement and the traffic to suitable habitat. Wow, these guys saved this poor, what the fuck is it? Possum, it looks like. Saved this poor possum. Let's look what people have to say about this. We'll go newest. Corrupt cop. Officer Fisher needs some retraining in constitutional rights and on what is needed to make a legal stop of a vehicle. The camera doesn't lie. Little fellow was out in cuffs and beat by the cop because he flicked the cop off with the middle finger. Newberry cops are sensitive little bitches and get easily offended. Cowards with badges. Stephen Schultz says, I support Newberry Police Department. Max laughed at that. This one is bad. I'm not going to read that one up aloud. It's bad. Hey, Fisher, especially for you. Thank you for taking the time to show some kindness. The Newberry, New Hampshire Police Department needs some good PR after Officer Fisher got caught enforcing his ego after someone flipped him off. Fisher, you and your department are now YouTube famous, and he possibly cost your city a nice chunk of change. And by the way, on the video, he looked like a serious buffoon. He made up a lie, which after the call logs and body camera footage are turned in as evidence, will only add to the lawsuit. And he's got a great point. That's why they're not releasing it. Proof that he's still an immature little child trying to manipulate the system so he can retaliate against law-abiding Americans that didn't show him the respect he thinks he deserves. By the way, Officer Fisher, when I was growing up, my dad always said respect is earned, not blindly given. Enjoy the rest of your career, because if you keep lying along with violating your oath of office, it's going to be really short. That video is going to be seen by millions, and it's never going away. Think about that the next time you want to enforce your ego. And when we go through this, it's just, it's a cult of personality. Everyone is just ripping this department apart. Then you go to their reviews. Again, Josh Wilson does not recommend the Newbury Police Department. Officer Fisher needs some training on constitutional rights, on what is needed to make a legal stop of a vehicle. The camera doesn't lie. So let me just pull something up real quick here. It's been a long time. I haven't played this in a long time. John, do you know what I'm talking about, John?
I don't believe I do, but I'm sure you'll tell me.
Well, I regret to be the bearer of bad news, but we were going to play America's favorite game. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do this, John, without the music. It's just...
Oh, I know the game.
This is a high budget production, John.
I agree.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Ready?
Are we ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, this police department has stupid pigs roaming the street at will. We all know that pigs are the most feral and invasive species in America, which brings us to today's favorite game. How low can you go? And we would probably go very low, but there's a problem with our whole how low can you go game. And the problem with that is the Newbury Police Department in Newbury, New Hampshire has disabled their comments and ratings, which they got ahead of it. They knew what was coming. They knew that people weren't going to be happy. But yeah, you are unable to review this police department. And I'll show you what it shows on my end when you pull this up. It shows this.
You got to back it up a little.
Posting is currently turned off. Now, when this happened, when this happened, posts were on. I know because I left a review, and it was not a very nice review. But they have shut off posts because the Newbury Police Department in Newbury, New Hampshire, thinks that they are above the people. They think that the people's wants and the people's needs are subservient to their own. And also it violates your right to free speech. If you have a public place, either on Google or Facebook, that is not private. They do not reserve the right to censor, delete, or moderate comments. They must always leave the comments available. So now we're going to do a little something different. At the conclusion of this stream, we're going to put in another records request. I'm going to ask for the names and anyone who has access to the Google account, their Google account. Then we're going to ask for the names of every officer that has admin capabilities for the Facebook account. It's weird. Comments keep getting deleted every day off Facebook. No one knows why. They magically disappear. We're also going to ask for the names of everyone on their block list and a copy of every single comment that was deleted. The purpose of this is very simple. When they deleted people's comments, they obviously didn't take copies of it. So we're going to get the names of the people with admin capabilities, and then that speaks for itself. Only those people could be responsible for violating someone's free speech again. They pull us over and arrest our movement for throwing out a middle finger, and now they're trying to quiet down everyone else who's calling them on it.
And again, I would say I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice. But when you do post your comments, you should be screenshotting the comments that you post. Because when they do this and they delete it, now you have a record of what you posted. And if it is deleted, you can at least have something to counter their argument saying, well, it never existed.
Yeah, well, I've been on that. The first 2 days this video was up, I did nothing but take screenshots. I must have 30 or 40 of them. It says that on that, and it was that specific post I did. I didn't do the other ones, but it says that it has 53 comments as of yesterday. Is it yesterday? Hold on. As of yesterday, it had 86. So let's just be clear. We are suing this police department. and they're going to lose. The only difference is now they've pissed us the fuck off. Like before, if their attorney was like, all right, listen, we didn't put hands on you, we didn't arrest you. How about we toss you like 50 grand and you guys can split it 3 ways? And then we would have went back and forth until we found a number that we liked. And then we would have accepted the money and made them release a statement saying that Officer Fisher was wrong and that training is going to ensue based off of the finding of this settlement. Now, because they pissed me off, don't bother, Newberry, don't bother making me a deal. And your attorneys, what are they called? Hatfield and what?
Upton and Hatfield.
Upton and Hatfield. They know who we are, John, don't they?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I actually brought that to their attorney's attention. The fact that the young lady in Warner that we recently visited the same day had tried to withhold videos that were taken when you and MAA audits were there the last time. And they kept sending us links that didn't work until we finally CC'd their attorney along with them and said, provide the links that work.
Yeah, they so when we went to Warner and they threatened us with arrest, it was so bad that their attorney, his name was Michael Courtney, he was in Concord from Upton Hatfield, same legal representation that Newberry has. He drove over 45 minutes to meet us and scold the officers. So they know who we are, and that just goes to prove it depends on which attorney you get. Michael Courtney did the right thing, but now this department, they are getting sued. And I am going to, they don't even have the right to, they have the right to make an offer. I'm putting it out there right now. No offer is being accepted, and you're giving us everything that we want. And there's no debate.
I will point out this, right? There actually is an exemption under the 91A5 exemption in the right to know law. The thing is that exemption kind of goes out the window based off the fact that, one, it was a First Amendment retaliation stop, and two, that because it was a First Amendment retaliation stop, once they stopped the vehicle and seized everybody in it, now it becomes a First and Fourth Amendment issue. So I tried to point that out to the attorney, and I believe his last name was Sullivan from Upton and Hatfield. He said, give me case law. So I sent him some case law regarding a ACLU case that was cited against the state police in New Hampshire. He didn't like that. He claimed that had to do with personnel files. And technically, he's right. It does have to do with personnel files. But the traffic stop that was initiated by that state trooper is what kicked off the issue.
Yeah, and we don't have to be the only one filing complaints. So if anyone, what's MAA Audit was the other guy in the car. He's in the chat. What's up, Randy? Everyone should subscribe to him. Check him out. He wasn't able, he had a prior engagement. This live stream was real last minute, so he wasn't able to come up here. So we thank you, John, for coming up. But if anyone who watched this video, there's 844 people in here. If anyone thought that this behavior was worth a complaint, they could simply, like, for example, if I'm just watching this video at home, I'm going to act this out. Oh my God, look what they did to AFA and Denicola and Randy. I think this is bullshit. Let me go. Oh, I'm at the website for the Newberry Police Department. Oh, here's their email address. I'm going to write formal complaint as the subject, and then I'm going to type in my complaint in the body of the email. Every time I file a complaint or a different person files a complaint, it can't be investigated collectively or globally, meaning that they can't look at, if 10 people complain, they can't look at 10 complaints and say, oh, this is all one complaint, it's about the same incident. Each complaint has to be investigated individually. So if anyone wants to file a complaint, I'm not telling you to. In fact, I'm demanding that you don't complain about these heroes to them on email. Yeah, listen to me. See? A couple of wise guys in the audience. How many complaints do you think they're going to get?
I don't know. I didn't tell anybody to complain. I
Yeah,
think
I'm telling them not to.
yeah, I just think that everybody has their own free will. And unfortunately, when you wear a badge, that free will takes on a different meaning, especially when you're wearing that badge.
I agree. Guys, super chat party, throw some super chats in there. What I was trying to do is the goal of the chat was, and I don't think it's still a goal anymore. I don't think it's still available, but we were looking for either 5 or 10. I can't remember. $50 super chats. And if we reach that goal, we'll say 5. And we get 5 $50 super chats before this ends, then I will not only do a meet and greet, but I will do a protest at this police department for anyone and everyone to join us. Number 1. Number 2, subscribe to John Denicola and MAA Audits. Thirdly, information that you guys didn't know, I am going to be making my debut in film. That is correct. There is a independent movie that's being filmed with some fantastic actors. It's called Flush. And I am going to be in that movie. It is going to be screening at select movie theaters. It already has an agreement to play on Amazon. And from there, sky's the limit. I will be playing a card dealer that, well, I can't give away much more than that. Spoiler alert. And it's not a spoiler alert. It's just the truth. Paul Heyman said that. So we got that going on. And also there's a new channel that I started. And here it is. If everyone could go subscribe to it. Here it is. Sit Down Sports. Let me read you exactly what it says. Gaming met comedy in the most absurd one-night stand ever. This channel was the result. This is gaming with a twist. I own a popular YouTube channel called Accountability for All with over 230,000 subscribers and viral success. We hope to bring that same energy, comedy, and action to the video game community. So sit down, game up. That is Sit Down Sports. Go check it out, guys. Appreciate it if you could. Oh, New England Truth. Who's going to match him? Who's going to match New England Truth? And then lastly, update. You guys, someone in the beginning wanted to know what was going on with this big story I got going on. And the date is definitive. I'm not going to tell you exactly what date. I am just going to say it could be between the beginning and middle-ish end of May. And that one is going to be fantastic. But the bootlickers must be hurting pretty good now, John. What do you think? They must be licking their wounds.
It is what it is. If they feel that way, I'm not out to hurt anybody's feelings. I got to be honest with you. I'm not proud of the way I talk to that guy. But when you're mad, you're mad. And when you're being stopped for no reason whatsoever, you got to kind of get what you give. The energy he gave off when he came over to the car was brutal.
Listen, man, I don't think you have anything to be sorry for. I know you hold yourself a certain way, but the moment anybody, I got the hoodie on right now. The moment anyone, their mother's cousin's goldfish's pet alligator tries to infringe or tread on me in the very slightest, there is no fucking respect. That shit goes out the window and we have a problem. Bay Area Transparency just posted a community post yesterday highlighting the Huntsville, Alabama City Hall denying people's right to enter, blah, 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 blah. And he just shares the article. That whole article was written about me and about the Random Patriot and Harvey Freebird when we went to Huntsville. This stuff is not stopping, but we are making change. We are making huge waves. I will be going back to Huntsville, and good luck to them and their mother if they want to try and arrest me for standing in a public lobby. Here's the problem. A lot of people talk it, and there's different ways to activist, right? But we, the people, live it. We do not settle or stand for any of this bullshit, because when you stand for this, you'll bend for that. And we're not willing to stand, bend, or break. If an unlaw is put into place, we will challenge it because we have the protection of the Constitution. The Constitution says that any law that abridges the Constitution is unconstitutional. So even if there's a law, it's a big, scary law. I can't go film. There's an ordinance that Huntsville put up. I don't care about the ordinance. It's unconstitutional. Hold on one second. I just got a message come in. It was unrelated. But any law that's unconstitutional does not have to be followed. Like fruit of the poisonous tree doesn't even apply to our traffic stop because fruit of the poisonous tree at least explains that it starts with legality. Like at least the situation, like he pulled us over for a legit reason. Then he did something unlawful. And then everything after that point was inadmissible. None of what he did to us was legal. None of what Huntsville, Alabama is doing to us is legal. None of it. So now they're going to suffer the consequence. They didn't like, and it's this simple. Guys, if you're upset with this and you might not be on our side of the cause, call your PD, right? And talk to them about it. And I'm not just saying Newberry. I mean, you have the right to talk to whoever you want and ask questions. It's very, very clear. We were satisfied with a complaint. We were satisfied with the release of the body cam. That was enough. There was going to be no legal repercussion. He wanted to cover his cop's ass, not release the body cam, and now he's going to be sued for an exorbitant and fuck ton of money. But he doesn't care. He's not paying it. The taxpayers are paying it. Do you folks have a problem with that? Because I'll tell you one thing. They're not only playing with your lives, they're not only playing with your freedom, they're playing with your fucking livelihood. Okay? All right.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I think if more people started to look at it in this aspect, you're working hard for your money. That money that you're making, you pay in taxes, and that helps pay their salary. And now you're going to get your taxes raised more to pay for this screw up. And I don't think that that's fair for the taxpayers. This is why everybody's calling for the qualified immunity to be revisited and tossed.
Yeah, and you know what? The larger issue at hand here is this. Newberry doesn't have discretionary funds like that. They don't have slush funds. They don't have rainy day funds. So I like this lawsuit because like big cities like Boston, right? Discretionary funds, slush funds. If we sue the Boston PD like I am, and they're giving me a lot of money like they will, it doesn't come out of any police budgets. The citizens are really covering the bill with money they've already hid away and put aside. Newberry doesn't have that. If we hit them for any large amount of change, that's coming out of their active right now 2025 fiscal budget. That means they were getting new body cams, fuck that, see you later. If they were getting new taser equipment and training, fuck that, see you later. If they were getting new police cruisers, fuck that, see you later. If they were getting extra vacation time, you the folks at home, what am I going to say next? Fuck that, see you later. So they're really just limiting themselves by fucking with us. That is how much power we the people have. And that's why I'm no longer accountability for all. We the people are pissed off. I'm pissed off, John.
I don't blame you.
Soothe me.
I listen, I can't tame the beast.
So, you know, I need you to soothe me right now.
It's okay, Josh. It'll get better.
Make it better than that.
Listen, I'm sorry, but we're on camera.
I don't like that. I'm going to go over some super chats here and member comments. Appreciate it. Here we go. New England Truth, $9.99. FTP 100, smash the like. Thank you very much, New England Truth. By the way, 2 years before I even started doing this, New England Truth was out there getting bangers. So shout out to him. Banana Anna, you're cooking me dinner tonight. I've earned it. That's true. Love and miss you. Accountability for all. I'm Banana Anna. That's Late Night with 702. A member for 31 months. New England Truth, $9.99. If they can bait us, why can't we bait them? Late Night, $2. Accountability for all. Great job as always. Love you. New England Truth again, $19.99. I'm supporting the cause. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. And FJA News, member for 20 5 months. Go Josh, and I am on behalf of these gentlemen extending that to them as well. Pinned to the top of your chat right now is pay links. It's PayPal and Cash App. Has nothing to do with this trip, and it doesn't cost me anything to have an intent letter sent out. It does. It's minimal. It doesn't even count on the scale, so it's not even a big deal. But that link is for the trip to, I almost told you guys I'm not going to, the trip that's coming in May, where we are going to be filming. It's going to be myself, the Random Patriot. D-Nye Cola is invited also if you'd like to go. We're going to be uncovering a cold case no one knew was cold, and one of the largest civil rights murders ever, with new information and a living suspect. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Stay tuned. I'll give you information about the movie that I'm going to be in when it comes out, but it really doesn't say a lot for me to be on here just as me, or the other big channels to be on there just as themselves. We're a minor cog in the works here. The people doing the real hard work, Uneasy Rider, what's up? People doing the real hard work, people like John Denicola. And it's a shame that he doesn't have 100,000 subscribers. He is up to his eyeballs in case law, records requests, God's property. Thank you so much. Continue the fight. Continue a good fight and stay safe. Thank you, God's property. He, like, multiple places he's doing case law, records requests, going back and forth with town managers, police officers, town councils, literally studying the law. I get paid to do this. Okay. I do it because I love it, and I never thought I was going to get paid, but everyone knows that I make money doing this. John, tell me how much your last YouTube paycheck was for last month.
I'm not monetized. I get nothing. As a matter of fact, any body camera footage that I put out there, or I request that cost money, I pay out of pocket. And
so no paycheck last month. Then what about this month? How much are you going to make this month?
I got nothing from YouTube. They give me nothing.
And that's the whole point, folks. He's not monetized. He has the watch hours. If he wanted to monetize himself, he could. He could start making money. But he's not doing it for money. He's doing it because he's trying to create change. He's doing it because he believes that if he tries hard enough, that, maybe he can make a small dent. And people ask me all the time, do I think we're going to make change? And I say, well, it's kind of like pissing in the wind during a monsoon and expecting to get anything less than soaking wet. But let me show you my friend John's channel here. Filter. Oh, 1 second. I want everyone to go subscribe. I want you to subscribe to MAA Audits also. And then I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
this is John Denicola's channel. Okay, here it is. 1.31 subscribers, just over 1,300, and the guy should have 100,000. Make sure you check him out. Also, make sure you check out MAA Audit. There he is, right up top, my man. Check out MAA Audit, okay? And also, last but not least, the unsung hero of this video. Check out my wife, Bananarana. She has a lot of fantastic content, just about to break 14K. And with your help, that can't happen soon enough. John, God's property donation. Oh, that one's for John. All right, John, I'm going to have to send you a PayPal.
Thank you, God's property. I appreciate that immensely.
PayPal or Cash App?
Don't worry. We'll figure it out. We always do. Right?
Either that or I'll give you cash.
Whatever.
The economy sucks, though. I can only give you 10.
Inflation rate.
It's inflation. I've been inflating and deflating. I don't even know. Folks, you are the best part of what keeps this going. Moderators that are out there, I appreciate you immensely for keeping this channel going for as long as you have. It goes to show that If we work together, that's why 4 billion people alone watched auditing last year on YouTube. That's why Dr. Phil invited me on his show to make me a punching bag, and then got himself so verbally fucked up that I became one of only 2 episodes in his 30-year television career that he's never released. It's the reason people like John Denicola, just the very name at the bottom of the email where it says regards. Oh, hold on. I got a call coming in. Hold on. Hello?
Hey, is everything good?
Huh?
Is everything good?
Yeah, I'm just on here talking to John Denicola.
Oh, okay, because if you fuck up my dinner plans, we're going to have a problem.
You did the same thing in the video.
Well, I'm making dinner.
All right, that's it. I'm out of here before I get beat like a cop's wife. Thanks, babe. Love you. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. And that's the reason we stopped you today.
Thank you, folks. Bye now.